Well, hey there. This is Kim Constable. Welcome to the Kim Constable podcast. Hang on a wee second. What? You're like, welcome to the what? The Kim Constable podcast? I thought this was the Strong and Sculpted podcast. Well, yeah, something to tell you. We've had a name change. Yeah, this is now called the Kim Constable podcast instead of the Strong and Sculpted podcast, simply because I realized something very special this week. It was a massive realization for me, and I want to share it with you now. And that realization was that Kim Constable is not the bionic woman. She is actually human. Isn't that really shocking? I really only learned that this week, but I'll tell you why that's important for you guys to know. Is because sometimes I forget that I am human and that I have the same amount of hours in the day as everybody else. I always think I have more because I seem to accomplish an enormous amount. And I really just do not have time to record 2 podcast episodes every week because right at the minute, I barely have time to record 1 fricking podcast episode. So I love recording this podcast, but we were going to start a new podcast for the Million Dollar Mentor program, which you guys have heard me banging on about for a little while. I know that has launched. We may not know that it's launched this week, but we launched the Million Dollar Mentor program this week with a free masterclass, which I'm going to tell you more about it in a minute. And I was planning on starting a whole new business podcast and keeping this one for fitness and another one for business. And then I was talking to my team about it, and Mark and I were having a conversation. And he said to me, Kim, you're really not going to have time to record 2 podcasts a week. And I was like, I know, but what am I going to do? Because I can't start talking about business on the Strong and Sculpted podcast. And then I thought, you know what? Actually, here's the thing. Whenever I started the Strong and Sculpted podcast, my goal for it, the reason why I called it Strong and Sculpted was because I didn't want it just to be about fitness. I wanted it to be about everything that I care about, everything that's important to me, which is why we've done episodes on schooling, we've done episodes on business, we've done episodes on shredding and bulking and macros and calories and everything to do with fitness. But we've also done a lot of episodes on life, on trolls and haters, on, the vegan police and why they hate me, all different kinds of stuff. And I thought, I don't use this podcast as a health and fitness podcast. I use health and fitness as a springboard for learning. It's kind of how we unschool our kids. Many people ask how that works. And I say, well, whatever it is that they're interested in, we use that as a springboard for learning. So I've always seen this podcast and how we do it as a springboard for me to discuss much deeper life issues that many people struggle with, which is why I use the stories of bulking and shredding and calories and all that kind of stuff to dive a little bit deeper into psychology, because psychology and why we do what we do and what drives us and motivates us is something that is very, very important to me, something that I love a lot and something I love talking about. And so, business and fitness are actually very, very similar. They have a lot in common in terms of they both require discipline, consistency, effort. They require you to show up every single day and make incremental gains in order to make a huge difference. And those lessons can be used, or those the things that you do in bodybuilding and the tasks and the events. I can't even think of the word that I'm trying to say, but the things that you do to be successful in bodybuilding and the things you do to be successful in business are actually the same. The content and the data may be different. What you do may be different, but how you do it is essentially the same. And so I thought to myself, you know what? I'm not going to start 2 podcasts. I'm going to change the name of this podcast to me, the Kim Constable podcast. And it just means that I can talk about anything that I want to talk about, because I know that you guys don't just want to hear about health and fitness. You want to hear about so much more than health and fitness. You've asked me to interview my husband. You've asked me to interview my kids. You've asked me, doing more podcasts on homeschooling and unschooling and bedtime routines with the kids. You've asked me to do, more stuff on relationships, talk about breast implants. There's been so many requests I've had for information on this podcast that just don't fit with the Strong and Sculpted theme. So from here on in, consider this the name change. This will be known as the Kim Constable podcast. And you can expect all kinds of, information, all kinds of subjects. We're going to be discussing absolutely everything. Some things will appeal to you more than others, obviously, because that's the way the podcast goes. But, you just pick and choose what suits you and you leave the rest. So now that we have cleared up that little bit of housekeeping, what I want to do is tell you about this extremely special episode that we have happening this week. This week, I ran a free masterclass called 12 Months to 1 Million. We ran that last Sunday. It was a very, very last minute decision. We were opening this incredible program. It was a mentorship, a 6-month mentorship for anybody who wants to learn directly from me and basically become an online intern in my business. And so my team and I discussed it, and I was like, let's open a private Facebook group. Let's invite people in to watch us build the $1 Million Mentor program, because we're actually launching a brand new business program next March called the $1 Million Mentor. And I said, let's invite people in behind the scenes, and I will break down my entire business and sales strategy, let them see how we run the Sculpted Vegan program, and then show them us building the $1 Million Mentor program and, help people get to their first million. And so we were like, oh my God, no one else is brave enough to do this in the industry. It's absolutely amazing. Let's do it. So we decided to do that. And then at the very last minute, loads of people who had heard about it were writing to me and saying, you know what, Kim, I really, really, really want to join your mentorship, but I just can't afford it because it's $997 to join for the 6 months. Because if you ain't willing to put or find a grand, to put some skin in the game, you're never, ever, ever going to build $1 million business. And so we launched this, and loads of people were writing to me and saying, oh my God, I want more than anything for you to mentor me, but I just can't afford the money. Will you be offering anything else for free? So I said to my team, I was like, let's run a webinar. Let's run a masterclass. And I'm going to teach the most fucking epic masterclass you have ever heard in your entire life. And at least then for people who can't join the mentorship, they will be able to join the masterclass and get all that information for free. So we ran the masterclass on Sunday, and we had 10,000 registrants, 10,500 registrants. We had 1,600 people show up live. And after the masterclass, we had I think now we're up to about 250 programs sold, which is, yes, $250,000 we made in the first day of the launch, which was absolutely insane. But it just shows, and the reason why I'm telling those numbers is because it shows you, I know how to make money. I know how to use these strategies to build big businesses. And that's what I want to teach people. This idea only came up 4 weeks ago. We've gone from idea to $250,000 first day launch in 28 days. And I want to teach people how to do that as well. So we ran the masterclass. It was quite simply the best masterclass that I have ever taught in my entire life. I actually had a woman write to me today to say that she has spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on courses from some very well-known online entrepreneurs who I'm not going to name. And she said, I learned more in your 90-minute webinar than I have learned in spending $20,000 on courses. And I am purchasing your 6-month mentorship right now. She said, you broke down exactly what I've been struggling with. You showed me the numbers. You showed me exactly what it takes. You broke it down in such an easy to understand format that if you can do that and you can literally transform my life in under 90 minutes, I can't even imagine what you could do in 6 months. And it's comments like that. And I was like, Christina, I was calling Christina. I was like, come and read this amazing comment. It's so phenomenal. So I want you guys to have that information as well. And I was like, I recorded the webinar, and I said, let's put it out as a podcast, because there's a lot of people who won't be able to commit that time sitting down at a computer. But when you're driving, when you're walking or whatever, you could listen to this information while you're driving, while you're walking, and you could, you could obviously glean a lot from it. If you are interested after listening to it in joining the mentorship, you can simply go to the $1 Million Mentor. So the millionmentor.com/join. If you go to themillionmentor.com/join, that is the main page where you can join. I really, really, really wanted you to have this information. So I'm really excited to share it with you. And obviously you can't see the slides that I was presenting, but you can hear what I'm talking about. And it does make for a pretty good episode. So I hope that you enjoy this. Even if you don't have a business, it's still going to apply to you. If you just knew that you were put on this earth to be rich and successful, you are going to love this, because I'm going to help you to formulate an idea. I'm going to help you to really connect with who you are as a person and what you could potentially bring to the world as a product, or as an online product, or a physical product, or as an idea. And you're going to get so much information. People were writing to me afterwards saying that they couldn't sleep. They were up at 2:00 in the morning. They were writing down ideas. I mean, honestly, what the information or the feedback that we had pouring in from this masterclass has been phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And I was on such a high afterwards that I couldn't sleep. I couldn't get sleep by 2:00 in the morning, because I was like, my adrenaline was just pumping through my system. So anyway, I'm going to shut up now, and you're going to listen to me rattle on again for about the next 2 hours. And I will talk to you again at the very end. Well, hey there. This is Kim Constable. Welcome to this brand new and very exciting masterclass called 12 Months to 1 Million. How I built a $1 million online business from scratch in under 12 months with no email list and 0 followers. That's not even a joke nor an exaggeration. It is 100% true. And I can't wait to teach you how to do it too. So before we get started, why don't you turn off all your distractions? I am going to be going through some really incredible strategies quite quickly. So you might want to take screenshots. You definitely want to take notes. You might want to go back and watch this masterclass again because it is something that's worth watching 2 or 3 times just to really absorb all the information. But just to give yourself the best possible chance of success, definitely turn off all your distractions, relax, enjoy, get a pen and paper, and get ready to learn some serious information to help you create your $1 million business. And what else, I can already speak. What also I would love you to do is to post your pictures on Instagram so that I can reshare them. My Instagram account is the $M Mentor, the $M Mentor. And if you use the hashtag, the $1 Million Mentor, then I will reshare your pictures. And if you tag me in them, I will reshare them both on my $1 Million Mentor account and also on my Sculpted Vegan account, potentially, which has 250,000 followers. So it's a really good way for you to get exposure to your business as well. At the end, I'll also be hosting a live Q&A. So if you have any questions which you would like me to answer personally, you can save them, write them down, ask them at the end in the live Q&A. My team are also on the masterclass here live today. So if there's any questions that they can answer, they certainly will answer them within the chat box. But if there's something that they think that would be best answered by me at the end, then they will send it through to me. And they're going to pick up all the questions that they think would be good for me to answer if they're asked during the masterclass, and they're going to send them through to me. But we will be doing a live Q&A at the end as well, so you will have a chance to ask your questions. Now, in this masterclass, I'm going to teach you exactly how you can build a $1 million business in 12 months. I'm going to teach you the exact strategies that I used to build my $1 million business that you can also apply to your business. And these strategies work for any business, by the way. They're not just for online businesses. They would work for product businesses. They would work for multi-level marketing businesses. They work for all businesses. And this is the exact system that I used to build a multi-million-dollar brand in under 3 years. Yes, my current business, The Sculpted Vegan, doesn't just turn over $1 million. My current business turns over multiple $1 million. This year, our turnover is about 4 million, and we have doubled our turnover every single year since we began. So, but I want to teach you how to get to your first million using exactly the same strategies that I used. And in this training, you're also going to learn how to create a product that thousands of people will buy the minute you launch. This is not airy-fairy pie in the sky, hopeful strategy stuff. Every single time we launch a $97 program, we sell about 3,000 programs in the first 7 to 10 days. That's $300,000 in revenue in 7 to 10 days from one $97 program. And there's a very specific formula that you have to follow in order to reach that level of success. But I'm going to teach it to you here as well in the masterclass. There's going to be so much good information here. I'm also going to teach you how sales is simply a numbers game, of which you must know the rules to make more than $100,000 per month. People always ask me, why were you so successful? Why have you been able to scale so quickly? And I honestly believe that understanding that sales is just a numbers game, has actually been one of the secrets to my success. Simply because whenever you understand the numbers of sales, then it takes all of the fear out of it and it takes all of the guesswork out of it. So you're not afraid to take a risk because you know that you're not really taking a risk, or you're not taking a huge risk, you're taking a calculated risk, and that risk will actually pay off. Because honestly, quite simply, sales is a numbers game. And when you understand the game, it takes all of the fear out of it. So I want to teach you that today as well. But best of all, you will learn how to create a business system that can scale fast. That is one of the best things I'm going to teach you today, a business system that you can scale fast. But first, before we begin, let me tell you a story. Any of you who listen to my podcasts will know that I love my stories, but stories are an amazing way to connect with your audience. And also, people don't remember information. And here's a really good tip for you just before we even begin.
People don't retain information without emotion. Without emotion, there is no retention. So that's why I always tell stories to illustrate a point. Whenever someone becomes emotionally involved in something, then they retain information. So information without emotion is absolutely useless. So at 37 years of age, I was a stay-at-home mum to 4 young kids. This picture here was taken whenever we were on our way home from a trip to Australia that we had taken. My husband is Australian, and we try to go and see his family about every other year. We were on our way home from Australia, and we'd stopped off in Dubai, and this was taken in the aquarium in Dubai with the 4 kids. And that was my full-time job. I was a full-time stay-at-home mum to my 4 homeschooled kids. Our kids have never gone to school. We've always homeschooled them, so my job was probably busier than many mums who get to send their kids off to school and get that break every day. So not only did I manage to build a big company, I managed to do it while homeschooling my 4 kids. And if I can do it, you can do it too. I was also a yoga teacher who made a modest income teaching from home. I had a home yoga studio, which I had set up to teach private clients from home, and I taught maybe 2 or 3 clients in the morning from my home studio, and I had the kids looked after while I was teaching, and that gave me a little bit of extra income. But my income was capped based on how many hours I could teach. The only way I could earn more money was to teach more hours. And I think that that's a trap that many people fall into, but it's a trap that I want to help you get out of during this training. But here's the thing, right? I knew that I was destined to be wealthy and successful. I mean, who here has that feeling? You know that feeling that you get in your chest? You know that tight, like strong, like pressing feeling that you get in your chest that you just know that you were put on this earth to do bigger and better things than you're doing right now. You know that feeling where you're like, oh, I just know, damn it, that I was put here to be wealthy, to be successful, to make a positive impact on the world, to do something bigger and better than what I'm doing now. That's how I felt. But the problem was I just didn't know how to make it happen. And not even thinking of a business at the time, I decided to indulge my lifelong love of muscles and train for the stage as a bikini competitor. But here's the thing, right? I couldn't find a trainer who knew about the vegan diet. So that was me there on the left after having my 4 children. And that was me on the right about 3 years later, I think, whenever I was training for the World Championships. I had already trained for or competed 2 years previously. And that was me 3 years after that photo on the left, whenever I was in training for a bikini competition for the World Championships. And as you can see, my body has completely and utterly transformed from that skinny fat yoga teacher on the left to the athlete that I am today. But here's the thing. I wasn't even thinking of starting a business. I just always loved muscles. I was just like, I love muscles. Like I used to look through my dad's, he used to buy these my dad used to buy bikinis. No, my dad used to buy the magazines, the bodybuilding magazines, Muscle and Flex and Flex magazine and Muscle and Fitness and all those kinds of ones. And I used to love flicking through them when I was a little girl. And I used to look at the female bodybuilders and just love what they looked like. And it had always, I'd always had a love of muscles, but I just never done anything about it. And so I just decided once that I was going to start training. And whenever I started training in the gym, I discovered that I absolutely and utterly loved it. It was what I was born to do. So I started training for a bikini competition. So whenever I decided I was going to train for a bikini competition, I searched the web for a bodybuilding program that would take me to the stage as a vegan athlete, but it didn't exist. So I had been eating a vegetarian diet for about 15 years, and I'd been eating a vegan diet, not for very long, probably only for 1 or 2 years. And so whenever I found a trainer to train me in the gym, I said to him, I'm a vegan. Do you know anything about training vegans? And he was like, I absolutely really don't. And I was like, oh shit. So what am I going to do now? So I was like, okay, don't worry about it. I'll figure it out myself. So what I did was I went online and I thought, you know what, I'd be prepared to spend like $1,000 or $2,000 on an online training program. That's how much I wanted this to happen. So I thought I'll spend $1,000 or $2,000. Hopefully they have a monthly payment plan, and I will purchase a bodybuilding program from a vegan athlete, which will take me from where I am now to the stage as a vegan athlete. I'm sure it exists. So I started to Google, vegan bodybuilding programs. Nothing came up. Vegan stage athlete bodybuilding programs, nothing came up. Vegan bikini bodybuilding programs, nothing came up. So I was like, where are all of these bodybuilding programs? Like, why do they not exist? And I couldn't find one anywhere. And so because I couldn't find one, I created it. I had this thought of, I remember looking, for these bodybuilding programs, and I remember thinking, why the hell does this thing not exist? And then I was like, ding, 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 ding. Like my brain started to go off, and I was thinking, hang on a wee second. If I'm searching for this information, you can bet your bottom dollar that there are other people searching for this information. So I thought, well, if other people are searching for this information and it doesn't exist, why don't I just document my whole journey? And why don't I create a program based on my journey? Because I'm going to stand on stage as a vegan bikini athlete. So everything I do to get there, why don't I just take notes? And I started, creating notes, and I created a notebook of my original notes of everything I did, every workout I did, everything I ate, how I calculated my macros and calories, every single thing that I did, and I created it into a program. I worked my ass off to create meal plans, recipes, macro balances, workouts, and shred plans to get me to this stage. And 1 year later, I stepped on stage as a bikini competitor. And at the same time, I launched my company, The Sculpted Vegan. Now, The Sculpted Vegan then looked very different to The Sculpted Vegan looks now, but I didn't worry about, of course I wanted to create this incredible, massive program that we have now, but I didn't have the resources, nor the time, nor the money, nor the, the designers, nor the team. I had nothing at the beginning. It was just me. So I just did what I could to create it. I started really, really, really simple, and I started to sell it, and The Sculpted Vegan was born. Now, with the Sculpted Vegan program, I accidentally found a gap in the market and I filled it. So I was looking for a bodybuilding program that would service my needs. I knew specifically what I wanted. I had 1 year, or as long as it would take. I knew that I had to go from never having trained in a gym to standing on stage as a vegan bikini competitor. So my problem was very, very, very specific. And the answer to my problem didn't exist online. So I created it. I found a gap in the market and I filled it. And in under 12 months, my company had made $1 million in sales. That is the screenshot there, straight in front of you, where you can see gross sales from, we launched our evergreen funnel, which I'll tell you about later, in April 2018, right up to April 2019, we made $1,064,501.23 in 12 months. So not only had I found a gap in the market, I had found a huge need that was there, that existed, and I serviced that need with my programs and with my company. And as you can see, it's been very, very, very successful. But not only that, every single year since, we have doubled our turnover. I did my first launch, a soft launch, right? Where I didn't put anything on autopilot after that. I didn't have any recurring ads or any other programs, but I did a soft launch to what's called test the market. So you want to see, do you have a product offering that is viable? So do you have a viable product offering? And that's what you should always do whenever you first launch a new product. And so I did that in September. So in September 2017 to August 31st, 2018, my turnover was 243,000. The same time frame of the next year, from September 1st, 2018 to August 31st, 2019, we turned over 1.5 million. Then from September 2019 to the end of August 2020, we turned over 2.5 million. From the 1st of September 2020 through to September next year, we will have turned over, well, by then it'll probably be 5 million. So we have doubled our turnover every single year using very specific sales strategies that I want to teach to you today. In under 3 years, we have grown our product ecosystem from one product to more than 10 products. Do you know what? I didn't even go on and count how many products we had. I just kind of guessed, but here's 9 of them here that you can see on the right-hand side. And we do have lots of other supplementary products and so many freebies and free PDFs. Like, our product matrix is absolutely enormous now, because once I started this, I just went hell for leather into creation mode. Once I started down this road and I realized that there was such a need in the market, I just kept creating programs and writing PDFs and doing podcasts and servicing my audience is the best thing that I could ever do. It's the thing I love to do the most in the world, is to fill needs, or is to service needs, or to find out what problems people have, and to create solutions for their problems. It's what I absolutely love to do. And I've grown our team from one person, which was me, to more than 15. So we have, worldwide, we have about 20 people now on our team. But I think about 10 of them are full-time, 5 of them are part-time contractors, and then the other ones work in the team on a need on a needs basis. So whenever we need to hire a specific person, photographers or videographers or whatever, then we have another team of 5 that we work with. So in under 3 years, we have grown a small but mighty team, as Amy Porterfield always says, which I love to hear. So we have a small but mighty team, but it has grown quite quickly and it's continuing to grow. So how did I do it? Well, I used 4 simple steps. So this is us getting into the strategies now that you guys have all joined for and that you want to know. So get your pen and paper ready and get ready to either screenshot these or write these down. So step 1, if you want to build an online business, or if you want to build any business, a product business, online business, or even if you have an essential oils business, right? Or, a skincare business, a multi-level marketing skincare business, step 1 is identify a problem. The first hurdle that new entrepreneurs face is being able to identify a product that will sell. So tell me, I want you to think about this. If you're listening to the replay and you're not here live, I want you to tell me, are you stuck knowing which product to create? Are you stuck knowing which product to create? Tell me in the comments, let me know. So yes. Okay, so it's all coming. Yes, I'm stuck. Yes, this is me. Yes, I don't know what to create. Or no, I have an idea, but I just don't know how to sell. That's a big one for people as well. Okay, so a lot of people have an idea or they know, what industry they want to work in, but they just don't know what product to create to fill that or to create a solution to that problem to get their business off the ground. It is a very common problem. And let me tell you something. I understand. I understand more than most. So the first mistake of most entrepreneurs is marketing a product instead of a mindset. So I really want you to sit up and pay attention here. If you're not paying attention now and you've been distracted, or maybe one of the kids comes in or you're thinking about something else, come back to me, okay? Come back to me and pay attention, because this part of the training is truly, if you get what I'm teaching you here, if you really, really get this, you will never ever worry about marketing products again. I think I could confidently say that there is not one single product that you could bring to me that I would not feel confident in selling. I can sell anything, because I know the formula of selling. So a lot of people come to me in our free groups. We actually have a free group called the $1 Million Mentor Insiders. We only started it like 5 days ago and we have 2,000 members already. And what I see coming up again and again and again is people have these ideas or they've created this product and they just don't know how to sell it. For me, it is so easy. This part, the selling part, is so easy. It is so simple. If you just get it, you'll never struggle with this again. So this is quite simply the most important part of anything that I could ever teach you, right? So I really want you to pay attention. The first mistake of most entrepreneurs is marketing a product instead of a mindset. And you probably heard this before, but I'm going to explain it to you in a different way. People don't buy products, they buy solutions to their problems. So let me tell you about my first business, okay? My first business was called the Work at Home Mums Network, and it was a total failure. Why was it a total failure? Because it didn't really reflect who I was and why I wanted to earn money. The strapline was something about helping mums create profitable businesses from home so they could spend more time with their kids. Sounds so parochial, doesn't it? It sounds so generic and so wonderful and so idealistic. And no, that is not what work at home moms want, right? You know why I wanted to create a business? I wanted to create a business because I wanted to be rich and wealthy and successful and travel and stay in 5-star hotels and travel first class and buy really nice Louis Vuitton handbags and Chanel shoes. I didn't want to create a business to spend more time with my kids, but I thought that would be a really, really nice strap line that, that people would like and they would, it would sound good. No, that's not how you sell a business. Because let me tell you something I know for sure, right? No stay-at-home mom wants to create a business that enables her to spend more time with her kids. Most moms want to get away from the little brats, right? And maybe you're like, oh my God, she said it out loud, right? But it's true. I said it out loud because it's true. So let me ask you a question. Whenever I said that most moms want to get away from the little brats, how many of you thought to yourselves just now, you really shouldn't say that, Kim? Let me know in the comments if you had a bit of a, oh my God, I can't believe she actually called them. Can't believe she called a child a brat. Like, it's said lovingly. I have 4 of them, but truly that is how people feel. People are like, oh my God, with the wee brat, we'll just go back to sleep. I used to say to people, I used to say to people sometimes, I was like, sometimes I just want to throw her out the window. And like, truly, I used to look at my daughter sometimes having a tantrum and think, I actually just want to pick you up and throw you. Of course, I never would. And I never did. And I've never hit my kids. I've never smacked them. I've never even shouted at my kids a couple of times, but it's not something I ever try to do. We don't punish them. We don't have the naughty step. I'm actually a very peaceful, very gentle parent, but that doesn't mean that sometimes I don't want to get away from them. That doesn't mean that sometimes I don't want to kill them because I'm human. Okay. Jordan Peterson always says that something like fear not the dangerous man, but fear the dangerous man who keeps it under control. So I am a very dangerous mother who keeps it very much under control. But that doesn't mean that I don't understand the parts of myself that want to throw little brats out the window. But this is why people fail in business. You have to be willing to identify the real issue, the real pain point that people are suffering from. But it requires a raw honesty to do this. And most people just aren't willing to do the deep work on themselves first, to understand other people and their struggles and have empathy for their struggles and to truly understand what they're struggling with. You have to be willing to go deep and truly understand yourself. If you don't do this really deep work of understanding yourself, you truly will never understand what motivates others. It all starts with us. So what I really wanted to do with the Work at Home Moms Network was to create, or with some business, was to create the multi-million-dollar empire that I have now. But somehow I thought that there was something bad about that. Good mothers should want to spend more time with their kids, right? Wrong. Wrong. Good mothers should not want to do anything. There are mothers who love to be at home with their kids. There's mothers who co-sleep, mothers who baby wear, mothers who breastfeed. There's mothers who bottle feed and push babies in prams and don't co-sleep and put babies in cots. There's no right or wrong way to parent. There's just the way that works for you in your family. And as long as your baby is happy and your kids are happy and they're well fed and cared for and loved, you're doing a good job. There's no right or wrong. It's not wrong to want to be away from your children for a short space of time. It's not wrong to want to travel first class. It's not wrong. It's not wrong to want anything. You only get one fucking shot in this life, guys. By the way, I have a real potty mouth, so if that offends you, sorry. You only get one shot in this life. One shot in this entire life. And you must live it as you want to live and fuck what everybody else says. Truly. And the minute you give yourself that freedom, the minute you say, I don't give a shit what you think. I don't give a damn what you think a good mother should do or a good person should do or whatever. The minute you throw off the weight of other people's expectations, you achieve a new level of freedom. And when you achieve a new level of freedom, you connect with yourself in a deep way, and therefore you can connect with other people on a much deeper level. And that is how you sell products. So here's what I did when I created The Sculpted Vegan, right? I did it completely different. I didn't sell fitness programs. I sold a badass fucking attitude. Why is it important to have the word fucking in there, right? Well, the word fuck is part of my marketing. Do you know why? Because I'm Irish. I'm Irish. Like, seriously, sometimes I sound really Irish. Because I am Irish, right? And in Ireland, we say the word fuck a lot. And in fact, in some parts of Ireland, people say fuck every other word. They're like, oh, no, they're in the fucking car and I spoke to, and he fucking said this to me, and he fucking said that to me, and he fucking this and fucking that and fucking everything. Fucking is part of our language in Ireland, okay? And the Americans are all like, ooh, she said a bad word. Ooh, she has a potty mouth. Ooh, she said a bad word. And I'm like, oh my God, these Americans are crazy, because I deal with a lot of Americans. So it's taken me a long time to really understand all of the rules in America. And, you know, let me, funny story before we go on. I went to America with my kids whenever I was pregnant with Maya. So I was pregnant with my third child. I took the 2 boys to America. We weren't even in the country I don't think we were in the country 2 days and we had broken nearly every single rule that existed. I have never known a country with more rules than America. They call it the land of the free. America is not the land of the free. Let me tell you that. America is the land of the rules. We went to a swimming pool and you're not allowed to, we changed our children in public. They were 1 and 2. We changed them beside the pool. People were like, no, you can't have naked children beside the pool. I was like, but they're 1 and 2. No, it's not allowed. I was like, oh shit, right, okay. And then my son was like, Mommy, I really need to pee. I was like, oh, there's a bush over there. Go pee in the bush. Someone was like, your child needs to go potty. Someone needs to go potty. I was like, he's 2. He's just peeing in the bush. Not allowed to pee in the bush. Fuck me. You're not allowed to pee in the bush. So all these. And then it was like, you have to swim to the end of the swimming pool. You're not allowed to walk barefoot in public. You're not allowed to leave your child in the car. You're not allowed to go into a pharmacy without shoes on. Like we here in Ireland, I think we just must be so feral. Okay. We're so feral. And so, but I am an outspoken, loud, brash, hardworking, loving. I keep banging my watch off the table. All of those things. But I also have a I don't give a fuck attitude. So fucking is part of my language. It's part of who I am. It's part of my makeup. Does it offend people? Yes. Have I lost sales because of it? Probably. Would I be more successful if I didn't have the word fuck in my sales, in my sales pages and in my marketing? Maybe, I don't know. Am I going to take it out to please other people? No. Why not? Because there's people who see the word fuck. We have fuck on our sales page, right? I have a picture of me in underwear on one of my business sales pages, okay? No, it's not really underwear. It's like, well, it is. I'm opening a coat because I'm a bodybuilder. I'm a bodybuilder. And so I was like, how I look is part of who I am and what I do. And people were like, oh, but this is a business program. Maybe you should be a little more conservative. Why? Because it's a business program. So? And they're like, well, are there not rules? Fuck the rules. I don't care about the rules. I'm the sculpted vegan. I have a great body. I don't mind fucking showing it off. So I worked really hard for it. And muscles is a representation of hard work. And I want people to see not only do I work hard in the gym, but I work hard in business. So I refuse to be anything but me. And see, if you don't like it, you can fuck off. But it's so true. And I don't mean it that in a bad way. But the reason why I put it in there is because there's plenty of people who go, oh my God, this is my girl. She is one of my tribe. Oh, I love that she swears like a sailor. She says it like it is. She's no BS. You totally believe her. So all of these things make up who I am. And that's what people purchase whenever they purchase my programs. They purchase an attitude. They go, yes, this girl is like me, right? Because I'm not afraid to be myself. So here's what I said, right? In my marketing materials, whenever I launched the Sculpted Vegan program, I've said, you have always known that there is a ripped, shredded, muscled athlete inside you screaming to get out. I said, you will walk down the beach in a thong, muscles rippling, six-pack visible, and have people turn and stare at you. Because you know why? People who join my program are a little bit vain. And that's wonderful. We celebrate that. You show off your hard work, girl. You work for that six-pack and those rippling muscles and those high, tight glutes, and you fucking well put on a thong and walk down that beach and show them off. You have attitude, girl. That's what we sell. We sell attitude. You will walk into the gym oozing with confidence, head straight to the free weight section, knowing you belong there. None of this fear and, oh, do I belong here? No, you go and pick up that dumbbell and you curl it like one of the boys. You aren't afraid to work like a fucking animal to achieve unparalleled results. That's what my marketing says. My marketing is about being peeled, ripped, diced, shredded, about working hard. People go, oh my God, on one of your programs, do I have to do like 2 hours cardio a day? Uh-huh. And an hour's training? Mm-hmm. But I will die. Yeah, you probably will. But you know what? You'll also get fucking shredded. So they're like, oh my God. And then, of course, people hate me for it as well. Oh my God, the bodybuilding community rip me apart. The vegan women's bodybuilding community rip me apart. But the ones who rip me apart are usually the ones who aren't willing to work hard enough to do the program. But the ones who are willing to work hard enough to do my programs get unparalleled results. But the ones who aren't willing to admit that they're not willing to work hard enough. And so they want to blame me instead. So there it is again. That's what the Sculpted Vegan said. You've always known there's a ripped, shredded person. You'll walk down the beach in a thong. You'll walk into the gym. You aren't afraid to work like an animal. These were our marketing words. These spoke to our audience. And this is what made us successful. Because here's the thing, right? You don't market a product. You market a mindset. So let me ask you watching this today. Who are you? What drives you? Who are you at your core? If you're like, yes, Kim, I'm like you. Oh my God, you speak my language. We are sisters from another mother or sister and brother from another mother. Or you're like, no, this really offends me. I am definitely not this way. I am much more calm and gentle and loving. And maybe that's you, but you are someone at your core, and people will buy you. They will buy what you stand for, what you believe in. They will buy whatever it is that you have inside of you. That's what sells. And if you remember this in everything that you do and everything that you create, you cannot help but be successful. You will have people flocking to buy your products because you will speak directly to one person, or not really, you'll speak directly to one person watching your ads or connecting with your stuff, but you will speak to many, many, many people the world over who are in your tribe. Okay, step number 2, just checking my time. We're good. Create your solution. Once you've identified a problem, it's now time to create the solution. Okay, so here's a case study that I want to show you for the Jailhouse Shred, right? The Jailhouse Shred was a program that we created during whenever everyone went into lockdown for coronavirus. So coronavirus put everyone into lockdown. Gyms closed and people were forced to train from home. So I realized that there was an opportunity here to create something phenomenal for people to really get their teeth into during lockdown. And I asked myself, what fears do I have? Because I was fearful as well, because we were in the middle of a launch. We lost we potentially lost $100,000 that we had invested in Facebook ads. We were right in the middle of a product launch whenever coronavirus hit. Nobody was focused on our launch. Everybody was focused on buying toilet paper and pasta, and trying to figure out, everyone was so focused on, oh my God, how is this going to affect my life? How is this going to affect my life? And I was feeling that way too. Like everything changed for us as well. And so I was like, there must be a way that I can help people. That's what I asked myself whenever I wanted to launch the Jailhouse Shred. It wasn't like, oh, opportunity, how can I make money? No, it was like, people the world over are feeling probably the way I'm feeling. And let me tell you something, guys, I was scared shitless. I am not afraid to admit it. I drank far too much. I didn't sleep at night. I was worried for my family, I was worried for all of the people that I employ. Was I going to still be able to employ them? Was I going to have to let some people go? I didn't want to have to let people go in the middle of a pandemic. What if they couldn't afford to pay their bills? And I was terrified. So I thought there must be an opportunity here for me to create something that will help people. So I thought, right, what do they need help with? So here were the problems I identified. The fears that I had. Frustration and boredom, right? Now, I, of course, was working like a dog, so I wasn't bored, but I could see that other people were bored, and my husband was bored at home, and the kids were bored, and they were frustrated because they were at the mercy of this virus, this pandemic that had been thrust upon us. I was fearful of losing my hard-earned muscle. I have trained so hard for 3 years, and I didn't want to lose my muscle if I couldn't train hard in the gym. I was also worried that training from home wasn't going to be challenging enough for me. And because I'm used to lifting really, really, really heavy weights, and that's how I built my body and that's how I maintained my muscle. I was worried about a lack of routine. I had my routine, I had my kids' routine, they had their Chinese lessons, and we had the people who work for us. We have a private chef, we have a housekeeper, all this kind of stuff. It was like, will they still come to work? Will they not? Will I have to furlough them? Like, what's going to happen? I had financial worries. I was like, will my company survive? Will people still have the money the world over to buy programs? Will people still have jobs? Like, everything was shutting down all over the place. There was no mention of the government furlough system at the time, or the government stimulus checks that they gave everybody in America. This was all new, and everyone just went into lockdown and everyone was worried. People were stress eating and drinking. I was stress eating and drinking. There was a lack of gym equipment because demand had outweighed supply. So there was no way of getting hold of gym equipment. If you didn't have a gym at home, you were screwed. You were like, gyms were closed, you'd no equipment at home, and there was hardly anything available because everyone was panic buying gym equipment. But also, there was also that thing, there was no, I was thinking, well, I could find gym equipment, or I could, borrow some from my trainer at the gym. But then I thought, well, I don't want to buy any equipment because I know I'm not going to train in a gym long term. I'm going to go back to the gym as soon as it opens. So I didn't want to waste the money buying some and then it go to wait and then, it not be used, especially because money was tight at the time. So how did I come up with the idea for the Jailhouse Shred, which we launched right in the middle of the pandemic? The pandemic hit in March and we launched the Jailhouse Shred 2 weeks later. From idea to launch, 2 weeks. It was the fastest we've ever turned a program around. My team were exhausted at the end of it, and so was I, but we went from idea to launch in 2 weeks. How did I do it? How did I come up with the idea? I asked Google, who is the most jacked person on the planet who doesn't use any gym equipment? And the surprising answer was prison inmate Charles Bronson. And the idea for the jailhouse shred was born. So let me go back to the previous slide, right? I looked up all of these, I identified all of these problems, and I thought, what is a solution to all of these problems? So I asked myself, okay, so if I was at home with no equipment, no access to equipment, but I wanted a really seriously tough workout, and I really wanted to feel like I was working hard, and I wanted to have routine. I wanted to have that same routine of going to the gym every day, even if it is home, and I wanted to feel like I was working towards something. What would I do? And so that's why I asked Google, who's the most jacked person on the planet? Because being jacked and staying jacked, and muscular, right? That was my highest value. I wanted to keep the muscle that I had. So I didn't want to do like pink dumbbells and resistance bands and cardio. There's a lot of people doing high intensity cardio workouts. That's not me. It's not what I stand for. I fucking detest cardio. I don't mind slow, steady cardio, but I hate HIIT workouts. And I was like, I'm not going to start doing HIIT workouts at home. That's going to waste all my muscle. So I asked, what kind of program, what kind of workout would I want to do? What would make me feel strong and gritty and like I'd really worked every day? And Charles Bronson, prison inmate, came up. Now, Charles Bronson has spent 33 years in solitary confinement with no access to equipment, and he gets outside for 1 hour every single day, okay? And Charles Bronson holds many world records, many strongman records. He can do the most press-ups in I think it was 134 press-ups in 1 minute he did. 134 press-ups. I think he has the most handstand push-up record. He can lift a pool table above his head. He can kick through a steel door. Like, the man is an absolute nutter animal, and he has no access to equipment. So I was like, haha, ding, 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 ding. What the fuck does Charles do that gets him such good results? And how can I create this into a program? So the jailhouse shred, by the way, let me just go back. The jailhouse shred launched from idea to launch 2 weeks, right? And we sold 2,000 copies in the first 7 days. We made $200,000 in the middle of a global pandemic in 7 days. And all I did was hit a pain point, a need that the market had, but I didn't look to the market to find that need. I looked inside myself to find that need. This is the point that I really want to stress. I really want to bring home to you, is that I didn't look externally. I looked internally, and I said, what kind of program would satisfy me right now? And I created it for myself because I had a real problem, and I solved my own problem, and then I released it to the market. And because I solved my own problem, you can guarantee that there will be thousands upon thousands of people worldwide with the same problem. We've since sold, I think, when did we launch that? April, May, June, July. I think we've sold about 9,000 copies of the Jailhouse Shred so far. So you do the math. It's huge, and it's been one of our most successful programs. So how to create a solution to a problem, okay? Here's the slide that you want to take note of. Identify the real problems, physical and emotional, right? What did every other fitness trainer on the planet do when the pandemic hit? They went, here's my HIIT workout from home. Here's my app. And I love putting on little voices so that you know what I'm talking about. You know, here's my download my app with my home workout. Everybody created their home workout, but every fucking person in the world was creating a home workout. There was nothing different about a home workout. And also, if you have someone, and no, don't get me wrong, some of those probably did really well. The people who actually train from home with 2 pink dumbbells and a resistance band, they probably loved the home workout from the fitness trainers who are promoting that stuff. My audience doesn't dig that shit. My audience trains to failure, squats like a bitch, leaves their soul on the gym floor, pukes and vomits and shits themselves while they're training, and then crawls out of the gym on their hands and knees. That's what my audience does. 2 pink dumbbells and a resistance band was never going to cut it for my audience. So I didn't jump on the gravy train that everyone else was jumping on. I went completely in the opposite direction, and that is what served me, and that's why we did well. So then you have to tap into the kind of solution you would like for yourself to this problem. That's what I did. Like I said, I didn't look externally, I looked internally. Then start researching words, phrases, or concepts on Google until you find something that resonates with you. I just kept searching. After I looked for Charles Bronson, I actually bought a couple of his books, and I started reading his books, and I started looking at his words and his concepts and the things that he said. And he's actually a very intelligent guy, even though he's a complete and utter psychopath. He is or a sociopath, I think he is, but he is a very dangerous criminal, but he's also very intelligent. So I started reading about some of his books, and I started researching prison inmates, and I looked at, what do you call the boxer, Mike Tyson, who was in prison. And I started looking at all these videos, and I started getting a feeling of these guys like doing these insane like pull-ups and stuff in the gym, just on the bars that were available. And I thought, yes, this is the feeling that I'm going for. Because you don't sell a program, you sell a feeling. People don't buy a physical product, they buy a feeling. And you have to create that feeling for them. And the words that you say, the images that you create, and the marketing materials and the videos that you create, that has to convey the feeling that you want people to have whenever they interact with your stuff. Then you have to look into what the competition is doing and do the opposite, okay? How can you be unique if you're doing what everyone else is doing? I tend to study the market and see what everyone else is doing. Look for the commonalities in price point, in, how many hours or how many weeks the trading's for, all this kind of stuff. And I do the exact opposite. And then whatever I create is completely unique. Then you have to trust your gut instinct and don't be afraid to be bold and brave. Let me tell you something, guys. See, whenever you're being yourself, whenever you're being unapologetically 100% yourself, there is absolutely no one who can touch you, because you are unique. You are you, and that is your superpower. And if you always are 100% true to yourself and who you are, and you don't try and copy anyone else, you don't try and be anything else, you're not afraid to speak your mind and say it like it is, let me tell you something. People may not like what you say, but they will respect the fact that you're not afraid to say it. And I would much rather people respect me than people like me. I am not 100% liked in the industry, and I don't give a shit. But let me tell you what I am. 100% respected. Well, maybe not 100%, but there's quite a few people who don't like me, but you can't say that I'm not successful. No matter how much or what you think of me personally, or you think of the Sculpted Vegan, you cannot say that I have not achieved incredible things in bodybuilding with my body and in business with a massive amount of limitations in a very short space of time. So you may not like me, but by God, I think I've earned respect. Peace out, man. Okay, step number 3, sell it. You ready? If you don't learn how to sell, you'll never be successful. It's so true. Most entrepreneurs are great at creating products, but they just don't know how to sell them. Let me teach you how. Give me a hell yeah. If you're like, preach it, sister. I am really great at creating products. I am so fucking knowledgeable and I have no clue how to sell them. So lesson number 1, you ready? Start with one product. You must not create another product until your first one is selling consistently. Once you've established your brand and your business, you can go full throttle into creation mode. Until then, focus only on one at a time. This is the mistake that new entrepreneurs make. They try to create multiple products or more than one product, or they try to create and launch a second product before the first one is successful. If you are not consistently selling your first product, if you do not have momentum with it, if it is not consistently growing and turning over money and making money, do not focus on anything else. Go deeper into your organization, go deeper into your customers, go deeper into the problems that they have, go deeper into asking for feedback, go deeper into connecting with people online and answering comments and making phone calls or answering reviews on Amazon and connecting with people via social media. Do not go wide. Do not try to launch too many at the same time, and do not overwhelm yourself. Whenever I created the Sculpted Vegan program, the 12-month program, do you know how we started? Do you want to know how we started? All I did was create an email list on Aweber, okay? I created an email list. I created an email campaign on Aweber. I signed up people to a monthly subscription. It was $18 per month. That was it. $18 per month. And I wrote a workout and recipes, breakfast, lunch, and dinner recipes. And I emailed one workout and one set of recipes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every week. So I created them weekly, or so I had sometimes created like 4 in advance. So I created them weekly and I emailed them out every week. So into their inbox, that's what people got. I didn't have a members area. I didn't have a designer. I didn't have PDFs. I didn't have anything. I created them myself in a Word document, and then I designed them. I got a logo designed, and I just PDF'd them. I just like saved them as a PDF, and I sent those out. That was my first business. That's how the Sculpted Vegan program began. So you don't wait to start. You don't wait until you have this amazing designer and this incredible website and all of these things. You just fucking start. Just start and make it as good as you can make it, and start to gain momentum. And as you're gaining momentum and you're getting feedback and you're getting people in and you're realizing what's wrong and how you need to fix it, then you keep improving and improving and improving and improving. But don't wait until it's perfect to start it. Wait until you're proud of it, and then just throw it out there, and then just keep improving and improving and improving. If you constantly put off launching it, you'll never launch. You have to get going with it. Lesson number 2, you have to decide where you will sell it. So digital products you can sell on your own website, okay? So we sell ours via thesculptedvegan.com. Physical products you can sell on Amazon and on your website. So Fulfilled by Amazon is actually an amazing way for people who want to start a product business to start before they even have a website. But to be honest, if you have a physical product, we're in the process of developing physical products at the minute in different industries, and we are going to sell them via our website, but we're also going to sell them on Amazon, because Amazon is the biggest retailer in the world. You would be crazy not to sell on Amazon. Absolutely crazy. So, but what you can do if you sell on Amazon is you can put a little ticket inside your packaging, which sends people back to your website with like a coupon code or something they can redeem, or somewhere they can get a free gift, or, money off their next purchase or something. So it does direct people back to your website, even if they purchase on Amazon. But you need to decide where you will sell it. I recommend a website if it's a digital product. You should invest in a web designer if you can in the beginning, because you want to look like you know what you're doing. You don't want to look like it's a website that you created yourself, because people will land on it and go, well, like I invested money in the beginning in an incredible web designer who is still with me today. He worked for himself whenever I first hired him, but now he's full-time. He's my director of design and development, full-time with the company, because he was amazing. And I was like, one day I have to talk this guy into coming to work for me full-time. But I wanted to create the vision. So after I'd created the PDFs, so in the beginning, it was just people would have signed up to a subscription and then they got their PDFs sent. As that was happening, I started to build out the website. I wanted people to land on my website and go, oh my God, this is a professional company. I wanted people to have the impression that it was a professional company, because I was going to put a professional price tag on it. I was going to charge $997 for my product. And if you're going to charge $997 for your product, you have to have your branding and your website reflective of the price. So you can't have a shitty website that you built yourself and charge $1,000 for your product. You have to think about the kind of brand you want to be. I wanted to be a millionaire. I like expensive things. I am a person who, what was it I heard in The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills once, which is my guilty pleasure. It was one of the wives was talking about their Maurizio, and she was like, he's a luxury lover. And I was like, ooh, I'm a luxury lover. Like, I'm a luxury lover. I want to create a luxury brand. So I always, set out to do that in the beginning, because that's part of who I am. That's part of who I am. I love the finer things in life. So I wanted to create a product that did that. So do create your own website when you can, but also if you have a physical product, you can also sell a physical product via your own website in the beginning, but you can't really sell a digital product on Amazon. So you have to choose your vehicle of where you're going to sell it. Now, let's talk about Facebook ads. My biggest investment was and still is in Facebook ads. My first launch was through a free webinar, at the end of which I sold my $997 program. The launch went well, and I made about 30 sales live, plus some private clients paying $1,000 per month. So I knew that people wanted this service. Once I knew I had a viable offering, I went all in on Facebook ads and put the product on autopilot. So here's the thing that many people don't know, and this is what I was saying in the very beginning. Sales is just a numbers game. There's no guessing in sales. There's no worrying about, will this sell or will this not sell, or will people like this, will this not? If you understand what I'm going to teach you now, so pay attention. Here you, no, don't look at your phone, pay attention, okay? So sometimes I like to do that. People are like, oh, shit, is she talking to me? Pay attention. This is probably the second most important thing that you need to learn in order to make yourself successful. The first thing that I taught you about, you market to a mindset, not a customer. You market a mindset, not a product, sorry. That's the first most important piece of information. This is the second reason I have been phenomenally successful in a really short space of time, because I understand that sales is just a numbers game. When you know the rules of the game, there's no fear. Knowing the numbers takes all the fear out of launching and selling. The more eyeballs you get on your offerings, the more you will sell. It's important that you know how many people you need to reach to make a sale. This is the magic number. So let's break this down, okay? So you have to know your numbers and measure everything. You have to know, whenever you're running Facebook ads, how much does it cost to get an email address? How much does it cost to make a sale? How much will you need to spend to make X amount of sales per day? This will tell you exactly how much you need to spend. More registrations equals more sales if your product solves a problem. So if your product is shit and it doesn't solve a problem, doesn't matter how much money you throw at it, it's not going to sell. But once you know that you have a viable offering, you've tested the market a little bit, then you can scale up really quickly because sales is just a numbers game. Let's break this down even further, right? So, and this is so easy, guys. You've no idea how much this works. It works everywhere. How much does it cost to get an email address, right? So these are just examples, by the way. These are just throwing it out there examples. But once you start to run your Facebook ads, then you'll start to get more data. So in the beginning, it's just a wee bit of experimentation. How much does it cost to get an email address? 100 leads. Let's say 100 leads cost you $1,000, right? A lead is an email address. A lot of people, whenever I say this, they go, "Oh my God, 100 leads, $1,000?" I'm like, yeah, like you've no idea how much it costs to get people onto your list in a Facebook ad. It's not, people love to look at the metrics that aren't really important, like reach. People go to me, "Oh, my post had a reach of 5,000. I'm like, yeah, but how many email addresses did you get? "Oh, no, but it had a reach of 5,000. I don't care how many people scrolled past it in their news feed. How many email addresses did you collect? "Oh, we collected 5. Right, well, then how much did you spend? £100. Okay, so it costs you £20 per email address. That's the metric that you focus on. So then you have to ask yourself, well, how much does it cost to make a sale? Well, if 20 people purchase, right, you got 100 leads, 100 email addresses, and out of that $1,000 spend, 20 people purchased, then it costs you $50 per sale. How much would you need to spend then to make 20 sales per day? Well, you need to spend $50 multiplied by 20 is $1,000. If you wanted to make 20 sales per day, then you would need to spend $1,000 to do it. This will tell you exactly how much you need to spend. If your goal is 100 sales per day, then you will need a $5,000 ad spend per day. This will also tell you how to price your products. Once you get data on how much a sale costs, you can price accordingly in future launches. So let me see, did I break this down in the next? No, I didn't. So let me stay here for a minute. I thought I broke it down the next slide further. Let me just explain this to you a bit. So on a $97 product, whenever we launch, if it's a really good product, which all of mine normally are, the costs can come in phenomenally low, especially if you have built up an audience such as we have, right? So whenever we launch the Butt Camp, right? So we have a program called the 8-Week Butt Camp. The 8-Week Butt Camp is our most successful program to date. And the reason why it's the most successful is because I realized that there was two massive needs in the market. One, a workout that allowed you to do it from home or in the gym, because a lot of the gyms were opening, but still a lot of them are still closed. So there was a huge problem, a huge need in the market for decent home training programs. The second need that we filled was, at the minute, every woman in the world is obsessed with growing her glutes. And there's really only one major glute person, a glute guru or whatever, or glute person on the web who's being successful. There's a couple of other glute building people, but they're not really that successful. There's kind of one major player in the market. So there was a gap in the market, and there's no big females in the market, like the way we're doing it, servicing the glute niche. So I was like, not only is there a gap in the market for a female glute builder, but there is also a gap in the market for someone who has a training program that can be done from home. So we created the 8-Week Butt Camp. We launched and we sold 3,000 programs in the first 7 days. 3,000 programs. Now, we launched it on the 10th of June. This is now the 27th of September. And so far, we've sold 9,000 programs. So we've made nearly $1 million in revenue in 3 months. Sorry, not June, July, August. Yeah, 3 months. Nearly $1 million in revenue in 3 months from a $97 program. Now, whenever we first launched the Butt Camp, our ads were coming in. It was only costing us, I think, between $8 and $15 per sale. But that's because it was a new product, because it was, hitting the market, quickly. We also had a huge audience built up of, our mailing list and that kind of stuff, and people who knew us. So the cost of sale was really, really low. Now we're still running ads to the boot camp. So they're kind of just, on an evergreen cycle where they're running. The ads are probably fatiguing a little bit, which means that we need to update the creatives, update the videos. But at the minute it's costing us between $45 and $55 per sale. Now that is about average. Once a program has fatigued a little bit and the initial newness of the launch has worn off, it'll probably cost you $45 to $50 per sale. So we're retailing that at $97. So we are making about $50 per sale. So I know that for every thousand, so let's say it cost me $50 per sale. So I know that for every $1,000 I spend, I will make, I just divide the $1,000 by $50, and that will tell me how many sales I'm going to make, which is 20. So I know if I spend $1,000 in the boot camp, I'm going to make 20 sales. Now it's worth it to me because I'm making $50 per sale. So I'm making $1,000 revenue on every single $1,000 that I spend. So if I throw $3,000 at it, I'll make $6,000. So it's kind of, I'm doubling my revenue. So, but whenever you know these numbers, it takes all of the fear out of selling, because you know that you can just ramp up the ad budget, and then whatever you ramp up the ad budget, you'll make more sales. And if it doesn't happen and your cost per conversion rises, then you need to slow down the ad budget, look at your creatives, look at your different strategies and whatever, and then you go again. And so sales, whenever you know this information, it takes all of the guesswork. I'm just checking my time. It takes all of the guesswork out of sales, because sales is just a numbers game. And once you know this, truly, you'll never be afraid of selling ever again. So the way that you sell, just to move on to physical products before we move on, Amazon is the quickest way to sell a physical product when just starting out. However, you should also sell on your own website to build your own brand. Ship your product directly to Amazon and have them complete the order. Remember though, if someone purchases from you through Amazon, they are Amazon's customer and not yours. Include a leaflet or a sticker in the package with a discount to use on your website to drive traffic back to your website so they become your customer. Okay, step number 4 is automate. There are 2 main ways to automate the sales process. Number 1, direct to sale. This is the main way that most businesses sell their products using ads. As long as you're making a profit, it's worthwhile. Spending $1 to make $2 is a no-brainer. So what I was just talking there about the boot camp, the 8-week boot camp, it sells at the minute for about, the ad spend is about $45 to $55. So we're making about $50 per sale. So we know that for every $50 we give that, we're going to make $97. So it's a no-brainer for us to keep putting more money into it. Although we don't, there is a tipping point where if you can't just throw $1 million at it, make 200 and make 2 million. There is a tipping point where these things need managed. And that's why you should find a Facebook ads manager always to do your Facebook ads. Don't do it yourself because it's so complicated. And if you find someone who knows what they're doing, you will literally double your revenue. It's worth the investment. And so direct to sale ads work best for products costing less than $97. So $97 or less. If you try and use a direct to sale ad, so for our boot camp, for example, or the Jailhouse Shred, we will run an ad directly to the video promoting the product. And then we will have a link to click here to find out more. It takes them to the sales page and then they can purchase. So they work best for $97 because it's even though $97 is a lot of money for some people, it's not so much that they would really have to check with someone, think about it, evaluate it, wonder should they make the investment. It's an easy enough purchase to make. Ad spend typically tops out at around 50% of the cost of the product. So you'll spend $45 to $50 to make a $97 sale. Facebook advertising is perfect as the targeting is very, very specific and direct. Best practice for ads direct to sale. Hire a designer to make amazing ad graphics, or hire a Facebook ads agency who will make the graphics for you as part of the service. If you have to bootstrap your company up, listen, I used Canva in the very beginning, canva.com, to make my own ads because I didn't have anyone to make my ads for me. But let me tell you, it was like pissing into the wind. I had no fucking idea what I was doing. What I found out from bootstrapping my company up in the beginning and trying to do everything myself, That's what I did with the Work at Home Moms Network, and it's what I did with the Sculpted Vegan in the very, very beginning. I tried to do it myself. I tried to do the ad copy myself and the graphics myself. I wasn't willing to invest. I wasn't willing to find the money and invest, because something happens if you invest money, right? If you borrow money from someone or borrow money from the bank and you invest that, suddenly you're serious about your business. And a lot of people don't want to make the leap and get serious. What happened with me, and truly one of the main reasons why I was really successful, made over $1 million in the first year, was because I decided to go for it. I borrowed $30,000 from a friend, and I took £30,000 from a friend, which is about $35,000. And I borrowed, I put about $55,000 on credit cards. So I actually invested about $100,000 in the beginning to take on a designer, a Facebook ads management company, and invest money in Facebook ads. I went all in with skin in the game because I was determined that I was going to make this successful. That is why I was successful, because I made the decision to do it. And I made the decision to do it because I knew I had a viable product offering, and because I understood that sales is just a numbers game. So I knew that I just had to manipulate the numbers. I just had to play around with how much I was investing and how much I was getting back in order to make this work. So I hired a designer who knew what they was doing. I hired a Facebook ads agency who knew what they were doing. And that's why my company grew so fast, because I stopped playing small. I started getting serious. And because I got serious, that's what made it grow. Write heaps of copy on your Instagram and social media pages. My Facebook ads team take the majority of the copy from my Instagram account for my ads. So copy is just another way of saying words. They take the words that I write and they use those in my ads from my Instagram account. You are the best spokesperson for your product. You can speak with passion and conviction about exactly what it is. And when you do that every single day on your Instagram account, that can all be used, repurposed into ads for Facebook or into copy for your website or whatever. It's a really, really good way for your team as you build them to get to know you, get to know your voice, get to know what's important to you, and then to use that in the future. Number 3, hire a copywriter to write the copy for your sales page. If you don't have the cash to do this, you can write it yourself in the beginning, but aim to invest in a copywriter ASAP. As soon as you can, create video ads for your product. Facebook prefers a mix of video and graphics. Number 5, track cost per conversion daily. Get to know your numbers and use these to make future predictions for other product launches and sales. Whenever we launch a new product, we typically spend about £30,000 on ads in a 7-day period. And we know that $30,000 with a $97 product, because we have a product launch formula now of how we do it, of how we create the sales page, the copy, the concept, whatever. And that's what I love to teach more than anything. I love to teach like my system for how we do it, for how I come up with the creation, I come up with the concepts, how I put all that together, and then how that goes to my designer. He comes up with the logos, then it goes to my creative director, then it goes to the copywriter, then it goes to the team to create the graphics for the Facebook group. We have a very specific system now. And I'm going to tell you at the end how you can get access to that. But we have a very specific system for building, launching, and creating products. But because we have that data now, we know that if we spend about £30,000 to £40,000 on ads, we'll make about $200,000 to $300,000. Usually about $300,000 in the first 7 days, $300,000 in a product launch. But we have that data now that we've built up over time. In the beginning, we had no idea. I just had to use my knowledge that sales is just a numbers game to know, well, if I throw X amount of money at it, and it's a really good product, and I know that I've hit the marketing right, I'm going to make X amount of sales. And as long as you're making money, any spend is worth it. Okay, number 2, this is a really good sales strategy, which is very underutilized. Free content funneling to sale. In my opinion, this is one of the most underutilized sales techniques of all businesses. Creating free content in the form of PDF downloads, ebooks, videos, and podcasts that genuinely solves your customers' problems is completely priceless. A customer will be much more likely to exchange an email address for a freebie that solves their problem than to purchase a product from you. This technique can be used by multi-level marketing businesses so effectively. People buy from experts, okay? They buy from experts. So Well, actually, I'll finish and then I'll talk about it. Free content also builds your mailing list for future sales. An engaged mailing list is priceless when it comes to launching new products. I know that at any time I have $50,000 to $100,000 sitting at my fingertips in my mailing list. If I'm ever short of cash, which thank God never happens, but if I was ever short of cash, I know that I could create a product that my audience would want to buy. And I could launch it just to my mailing list with absolutely no ad spend. And I could make $50,000 to $100,000 in 7 to 10 days. That is the power of a mailing list. The thing about it is, though, your mailing list needs to be big enough because only 20% of your mailing list will actually engage with your content, which means they will open your email. And only 20% of the 20% that open it will actually click on the link to see what it's about. And usually only 10 to 20% of that will purchase. So I will usually sell only 5% of my mailing list. Only 5% of my mailing list will actually purchase whatever I launch. So your mailing list has to be big enough for that 5% to make a difference. And so a lot of people go, oh, I have like 100 people on my mailing list. I'm like, well, you might sell 5 products then. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah, honestly, and I've had people come to me and they're like, oh my God, I'm so excited. I have 100 people signed up for my webinar. And I'm like, well, you might sell 1 product. And they're like, no. I'm like, no, seriously, on a webinar for a 997 product, like this one here, this is a webinar. So on a webinar, you would expect to sell 1% of registrations. That's not of people who show up. 1% of registrations is the number for sales in a webinar. And I tell that to everybody. It is absolutely and utterly standard across the board. Sometimes it's 2%, depending on how engaged your list is, but 1% is average. When you know that number, though, it takes all the fear out of it because you go, well, that's great. If I have 1,000 people on my registered for the webinar, I'll sell 10. If I sell 10, I'll make $10,000. So how much am I willing to invest to get those 1,000 people to my webinar? If it's 10,000, then you're not making any money. If it's 1,000, then that's great. You're making $9,000. If it costs you $5,000 to get the 1,000 registrations, that's perfect too, because you're still making $10,000. So you're still making $5,000 profit. But people have a really overinflated expectation of sales, of who will purchase. They get too invested in who has registered or who has, who's actually shown up to watch their content or who's engaged with their content. None of those things matter. It's knowing how many people purchase from how many register or how many engage or how many give you their email address. That is the magic number. And it's usually far, far, far smaller than you would ever believe. Your number has to be big enough to matter. And for your number to be big enough to matter, you have to invest money. There's no other way to do it. You have to invest. You can have the best marketing, the best product, the best anything. But if you don't have money to invest, you ain't going to be successful. And that's just the bottom line. And it doesn't have to be a huge amount of money. It can be a small amount of money to get you going, but be realistic with your expectations and in what you're actually going to make. In my first launch, I only made $52,000. I only made $10,000 up front because the rest were paying monthly. And I invested £10,000 on a credit card. I made about £10,000 in direct revenue. So I was able to pay off my credit card, but I had nothing left, no cash left. But I knew that the other $42,000 was coming in monthly over the next 12 months. And so I that's whenever I knew I had a viable product offering. And that's when I borrowed $100,000 to invest in a Facebook ads management team and invest in a company because I knew I had a viable product offering and I knew I had to go all in. Now, could I have done it smarter? Yes, 100%. There's a lot of mistakes that I made that I can now help people to not make those mistakes. And it's amazing how many people come to me and they say, would you help me with my business? I say, yeah, sure. And I say, okay, do this, do this, do this. And they go, okay. And then they don't do it. And then their launch isn't successful, their product doesn't sell, and then they come back to me crying and go, I don't know what happened or whatever. And then I say to them, do you want me to tell you where you made the mistake? And they're like, no, I don't want to know. And you're like, okay. It's like, honestly, if I had someone like me to go to say, tell me exactly what to do, and they told me, you know what I would do? Exactly what they told me. I wouldn't question it. And I always find it hilarious whenever I tell people what to do and then they think they know better. And listen, maybe sometimes they do know better, but when, I usually know better because I've made all the mistakes. But anyway, that's just a wee side rant. But it does always astound me whenever people come to me for advice and then they don't take it. Because if I came to me for advice, I would bloody well take it. Okay. Here's an example of a free content to paid content, okay? So this is one that we're launching actually in October. I have written a free PDF called Building a Home Gym, How to Create an Inexpensive Home Gym. And this free home gym PDF will directly lead people to purchase a home program that uses simple home gym equipment. So Basement Jacked. Basement Jacked is it's a program that uses only barbells and dumbbells. The tagline is get insanely jacked in your home gym with minimal equipment in only 6 weeks. So I created this program simply because all I was seeing all over my Instagram and Facebook feed was people building home gyms. People are like, fuck coronavirus. The gyms are never going to open again. I'm not going to be dependent on a gym. I'm going to build my own home gym. So people are now building their own home gyms all over the shop. That's fantastic. So I was like, okay, let's create a home gym program because we don't have one. And let's base it on the principles of high intensity training, which I do using very simple equipment so people can get insanely jacked. So we're going to release that to our mailing list. We'll probably run some ads to it as well in October. But this is we're going to release this free home gym PDF, and inside it will have a link to buy Basement Jacked. So people are much more likely to download this free program in exchange for an email address, and then they will see Basement Jacked than they are to look at the ad for Basement Jacked. Does that make sense? I want people to see Basement Jacked, but they're much more likely to see it if they give me their email address for a free home program, because the free home program directly hits a pain point that people have, a need that they have. And it's free, so there's no downside to doing it. So that gets more eyeballs on your product. This is one of the most underutilized strategies, I think, that multi-level marketing companies, so people who sell like essential oils or candles or those kinds of things, or even people who have a product business. This is one of the most my sister has a company called Babu Kush. It's a baby chair where the baby lies on its belly. She's the creator and founder of Babu Kush that relieves colic and reflux. And I've been saying to her for ages, you need to create free content that you run ads to your free content. Don't run ads to direct to purchase the baby chair. Run ads to your free content, because if you run ads to your free content, people will download your 5-step guide to alleviating colic and reflux. Use the exact pain points and words that they have. The things that your mothers suffer from. Like, what are they suffering from? How to help your baby when it's crying in pain. What is the actual emotive language that they're using? Create free PDFs that help people with this problem, and then have a link to purchase the Babu Kush inside the PDF. And people are much more likely to download that than they are to click on an ad for a product. Not much more likely, but there's less involved, right? So this is one of the best things. So if you had like an essential oils business or a candle business, I would be creating these free guides that hit exact pain points that people have. Like, what are pain points? Why do people use essential oils? Well, I use them in my bath for muscle relief. I have rollers that I use for, that I put on during the day, because to be honest, I love the smell of them. And also, there's stress relief and that kind of stuff. Not that I ever get stressed, but I just enjoy the smell of them. I'm probably not the best person to market essential oils to, but if you could find a problem that I have, like sometimes I find it really hard to sleep during a launch. So if you were to create a PDF, your essential guide to falling asleep in under 5 minutes during periods of stress. If I saw that on Facebook, I would immediately give you my email address for that, because that's a very specific problem that I have. So if I created that and then inside it, you marketed to me a blend of essential oils or a pillow mist, something that I sprayed on my pillow, and it was only, I don't know, 10 or 20 quid or maybe 50, even $50, I would probably purchase it, because that's a very specific problem that I have. How to fall asleep in under 5 minutes during a period of stress. And you give me other, tips such as, and not parochial shit that you hear on the internet, like, avoid, being on your phone before you go to bed. I'm never going to avoid being on my phone before I go to bed, because I own a fucking internet company. I'm on my phone till the minute I fall asleep. I'm not going to do that shit, right? I'm not going to drink warm milk and have a bath. Give me real stuff that people are actually going to follow. Don't tell people not to look at their phones before bed, because people aren't going to do it. Recognize the fact that people aren't going to give up their phones before they go to bed, and just say to them, I know you're not going to give up your phone before you go to bed, so here's what you can do to combat it. And, tell me to wear special glasses or something, then make the glasses and sell them to me. You know what I mean? Like, do you see now take a pain point and then think of and then be real about it, right? I'm not going to set down my phone before I go to bed, people. I'm not. Sorry. I'm not, So instead of trying to make me do that, find me a way that you can give me what I want without making me give up my phone before I go to bed. Make it the sense? Okay. Don't create content that you think your audience wants. Create content they actually want, like the before you go to bed stuff, the pillow mist, whatever, by listening closely and engaging. When recording my podcast each week, I scan the groups to see what the common problems are. Then I record a podcast that addresses this problem. My members think I'm a mind reader because I'm always delivering content exactly when they need it. What if you don't have a community yet? Find where your customers hang out in Facebook, join the groups, and listen closely. Read the reviews on Amazon. Look for the common questions and asks. This is your free content. So here's the Sculpted Vegan current sales strategy. I know we have gone on quite long, so well done for staying with me, but this is our current sales strategy. Evergreen webinar funnel, right? This is how we sell our products at the minute. We make about 1.5 million per year from our evergreen webinar funnel. I recorded a webinar, we run traffic to the webinar recording, and people sign up from the webinar recording for our $1,500 program. We do about 4 $97 product launches per year, which makes us 1 to 1.5 million. That's just in the launches, but those sell throughout the year. We have sales funnels, which are, our webinar funnel, our product launches, different funnels of different products. The products range from $18 to $1,497. That makes us about $500,000 a year. We have what are called self-liquidating offers. So these are offers that we offer people immediately. They download a free product. Then we offer them instantly a low-cost product between $9 usually and $49 is the price point. And enough people opt in for that offer that pays for the Facebook ads. So it's a really good way to pay for your Facebook ads. It's called a self-liquidating offer. It's an advanced marketing strategy, but it's very effective. Word of mouth and repeat customers, absolutely priceless. See, whenever you join my company, we take care of you. I have a team of coaches that work directly with me and then work directly with my customers. Customer service is so important to me. I love people and I love taking care of people. And I go over and above and beyond what people expect of me because that's who I am. That's just the kind of person I am. I over-deliver on every single thing that I can over-deliver on.
I'm having trouble hearing you.
My Sarah's like, I'm having trouble hearing you. So I over-deliver on everything. And whenever you are an over-deliverer, you will never fail. And my 2020 to 21 turnover is going to be a minimum of about $4 million using all of these strategies. Oh my God. That is the end of the sales presentation. So I have a couple more things that I want to share with you now. But first of all, what do you think? Is that good? You enjoy that? I know I talk a lot. I'm like, and sometimes I'm like, shut up, Kim, shut up, Kim, shut up, Kim. I'm talking far too much. But I have so much to say on this subject. Listen, I could have trained you here for maybe 4 hours more. I could talk and talk and talk and talk and talk about all of this stuff because it's my favorite thing to talk about. So hopefully you have enjoyed it. So there's something I want to tell you about now, okay, before you go. Hopefully you have understood by now that I know what the fuck I'm talking about. This isn't bullshit. This is like reality. This is real stuff that Kim has actually learned and practices every single day. So after this masterclass, there are 2 paths that you can take from here, right? Path number 1, you can take all the information I've given you and you can go it alone. And let me tell you, if you take the information that I have taught you today and you run with it and you implement it in your business, I have no doubt that you will make it a success. That's always my goal, to give you or to help you to have the most success that you can possibly have in your life. Or path number 2, and this is the path that I really hope that you're going to say yes to, allow me to be your mentor. I have created the most incredible Facebook group, and I want you for the next 6 months to join my team and learn everything that it takes to create products, market to customers, and make millions of dollars in sales. I am doing what no entrepreneur has ever dared to do before. I am inviting you to work with me behind the scenes in my business with me and my team. Because I want you to see exactly what we do, how we make decisions, how we launch products, create ads, and run a multi-million-dollar business. I also want to allow you to see the building of our next $1 million business. Let me tell you very briefly where this came from. I was driving one day, chatting to my creative director, Mark, and I was thinking about the business that we are launching. We're launching a company next March, right? And it was a business building program. I didn't know what I was going to teach, but I just knew that I was confusing myself with all of this. Will I teach them this? Will I teach them this? Will I do this? Will I do this? Like, I just wasn't sure, right? And I was driving along talking to Mark, and I was like, I need to nail down what it is. I was like, it's like a mentorship. It's like a mentorship. I was like, but I just want to, I think out loud, I'm always talking and thinking. I was like, I want people to build $1 million business. Like, it's like a mentorship. It's like a mentorship to get to $1 million. And I was like, $1 million mentor. The $1 million mentor. That's what I am. That's what I want to be. I want to be $1 million mentor. So that's where the idea for the name came from. And then as I was describing it I was chatting to my copywriter, Alison, that night. And as I was describing this to her, I suddenly had this fucking epic idea. And I was like, Alison, I've had the most amazing idea. She was like, what? Tell me. I was like, we're going to spend the next 6 months building this program that we're going to launch next March, right? And I think I might call it, I don't know what I'm going to call it, but it's going to be like the $1 Million Mentor Program, or, 12 months to 1 million program. And we're going to launch this next March. I know it's going to make more than $1 million in the first year. I hope to make $3 million in the first launch. That's my goal. And at least $3 million. And so I said to Alison, oh my God, I've just had this epic idea. I said, I'm going to create a Facebook group, and I'm going to invite people to join the Facebook group, and I'm going to let them watch everything we do to build the $1 Million Mentor Program. And she was like, oh my God, kind of like a reality TV show. I was like, yes. It's like, I can show them everything, every part of my process in real time. They can see how we do the ads, how we create the products, how we strategize and launch, and I said, not only that, but I can help them with everything that they've got going on in their business. I can answer their questions, and I can help them define their audience, and I can help them with their, and she was like, oh my God, this is amazing. There's no one else doing this on the planet. I was like, I know. And she was like, because no one else is brave enough to do it. No one else is brave enough to do it. Everyone else lets you see what they want you to see. I'm going to invite you in to show you exactly what happens, warts and all. This incredible opportunity, let me tell you this now, will never be offered ever again, because it's going to take an enormous amount of my time. And I am now building and launching my second multi-million-dollar company. And we have so many other products that we are launching at the same time. So I will never have the time to do this ever, ever, ever again. So let me introduce you to the $1 Million Mentor 6-month program. This is the only mentorship program that exists of its kind in the world. I have searched. There's no one else doing this. It will give you daily access to me and my whole team, so you can build your $1 Million empire alongside us. That's my goal. I was like, you can see what we are doing, and you can do it in real time as well. I'm going to show you my exact formula for creating concepts for programs, how I search the web, what I look for, how I pull together the mood boards, how I create the feeling that goes off to the design team. I'm going to show you how I choose names. I'm going to show you how my design team creates the concepts. I'm going to show you how that then goes to copywriting, and exactly what emails we send out, onboarding emails, post emails, sales emails, delivery emails. We're going to map out everything. We're going to give you access to the inner workings of our entire company in the 6-month mentorship. So what do you get? You get a private Facebook community, live and pre-recorded weekly trainings, all inside the private Facebook group. Weekly Q&As with me and my team. I'm going to do a weekly Q&A every Wednesday where you get to ask questions and I will answer them live. Member spotlights. We're doing the first one this Tuesday. We already have had over 50 people join the mentorship, and we chose one of the members who has been really active so far, and we asked him, does he want to do a live Q&A with me in the group on Tuesday? So I'm going live with him in the group, and he's going to ask me all of the questions about his business, and I'm going to answer them. We're going to do like a live member spotlight. So he's going to get a coaching session with me, a live 60-minute coaching session with me, which, to be honest, is worth more than the program costs. Real-time updates on the exact processes and systems that we are using to build and launch the $1 Million Business Program in March 2021. A no-holds-barred open question policy. Ask me anything and get a direct, honest answer. I hope you know by now that I'm the kind of person that if you ask me a question, I ain't going to bullshit you. I'm going to give you the direct, honest answer. I have no fears around telling people exactly what we do and exactly what it takes. And you're going to get access to some of the best experts in the industry, which is my amazing team. Are you ready to build your $1 million business? What is the investment? Total value, $11,982. I could charge $1,000 a month for this easily, but I don't want you to have to pay $1,000 a month for it. I'm going to offer it to you today for the tiny price of $997 for the full 6 months. And after the 6 months is over, you still get access to the Facebook group and all of the live trainings that we did in the Facebook group. They'll all be recorded and filed and stored. And you get access to all of them even after the 6 months. So this is lifetime access for as long as the group exists for the one-off price of $997. Why a one-time payment $997? Because if you can't find $997 to purchase a program, you're never going to make it to $1 million. But here's the thing, right? Here's an option that we have for you. You can use PayPal credit to buy now and pay later. You can spread the cost over 12 months. The first payment will not be due for 35 days. And the average monthly payment is only $41.54. But let me tell you something. If you build your $1 million business in the next 12 months, you can pay that back like that. There's no penalty for paying it off early. That is a worst case scenario. But if you make the commitment to yourself that you are going to build and make that money, you're going to make that 997. If you have a 997 product for sale, you need to sell one of those to make back that money. And let me tell you, the strategies I'm going to give you, you cannot help but be successful.
Well, OMG, what did you think of that? Wasn't it absolutely amazing? Even if I do say so myself. But you know me, I've never been one to be a bit shy and retiring. And I do know that it was absolutely epic. And the reason why I know it was epic is because I live, eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff. And the reason why I can teach it so succinctly and so well and so easily is because it's so much a part of my soul. It's a part of who I am and what I do. And I do this every single day. So if you absolutely loved this masterclass and you're like, fuck me, Kim, you have blown my mind and I am joining your fucking mentorship. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity, by the way. I am never going to offer this ever again. And if you miss the chance to be mentored by me in the next 6 months, well, I don't know, then you're seriously missing out. So if you do decide that you want to join, go to themilliondollarmentor.com/join. You get instant access to the group. I did a 2-hour live coaching class today with one of the new members, and we broke down his entire business model. I broke down his entire sales strategy, and I mapped out a full sales strategy for him. I gave him specifics in terms of email series he needed, how he needed to do Facebook ads, what he needed to do with his course. I broke it down, and everybody was saying after watching that live that they got the value, they got their $1,000 value from that one masterclass. One girl said, if I never saw one more piece of information in the next 6 months, you have changed my life with this masterclass, or with this, the live coaching session that I did. So that is how powerful this information is. So if you want to join, go to themilliondollarmentor.com/join. And I will see you on the inside. And if you're like, sorry, Kim, just cannot swing that kind of money, well, this episode is here for you to listen to over and over and over again and take loads of notes. And we do actually have a free Facebook group as well called the $1 Million Mentor Insiders. We have nearly 3,000 people in that group, and we only opened it 7 days ago. So if you want to join that free group and you want to continue to connect with me in business through our free programs, then 100% we have resources for you as well. But if you do want to join, go to themilliondollarmentor.com/join, and I would love to mentor you as a virtual intern in my business for the next 6 months. So all that is left for me to say is thank you so much for listening. If you listened to this all the way through, you were seriously committed, and I am very, very, very proud of you. And you're going to do amazing things because you have a very long attention span. So this is Kim Constable on the Kim Constable podcast. Nobody cares, work harder. That's what my strapline is, by the way. I forgot to say at the start. Nobody cares, work harder. And over and out from me, I will speak to you next week for another episode of the Kim Constable podcast. Have a wonderful week wherever you are. And thank you so much for listening. Mwah. Big kisses from me to you. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.